When watering gardenias, always use a little watering can, which is sea foam green, like the sky-spangled eyes of a child on a ferry who holds a fashion magazine by a single page and flails it around like a snarling wolf, stubbornly refusing to be freed from a trap by a kind-hearted elderly passerby with an old ashwood walking stick whose spiral-grained knuckle the old man's knuckles are starting to uncannily resemble. The same way that people over time will resemble characters from movies, like how John Hinckley tried to become Travis Bickles from Taxi Driver when he shot Reagan, and the Secret Service leapt on him quicker than the glance I exchanged with the salesman at the high-end nautical GPS store when he accidentally cornered himself into admitting that it would be cheaper for me to order it online, before he returned to running the chewed butt of his pen over the old green clipboard and feeling the pen lock momentarily into the scars in the green plastic. Like a chiropractor, feeling around a ballerina's back with fingers that have grown to love the feel of crooked discs or too hot tissues, because it means they've found the problem and know exactly what to do. The way taciturn men sometimes know exactly what to say at a funeral, and become something totally unfamiliar to their family for a few Periclean moments, only to gradually recrudesce into the ornery, shut-off window salesman they call Dan. But now, with the faintest possibility of tenderness rattling in every dour comment, like the modicum of debris rattling in a piece of amber which a geology student misidentified as a bee's leg but was actually a bee's arm, causing them to be expelled from school, get a job as a solar panel installer in Carlsbad, and develop an unsightly but benign skin condition on their shoulder that looked like a chain of islands in the Aegean Sea where some transgressor of Zeus is hiding in the form of a river, serving as the bathing place of innumerable ludic nymphs. The sort of nymphs which only exist now as paintings inside of paintings, used by the painter to illustrate that the subject of the painting is somewhat old-fashioned for keeping paintings of nymphs around his apartment, when really what's in style is paintings of people like him, doing nothing in their apartment, while on the street below a couple brushstrokes are a woman on a bench reading a book, in whose opening scene a mouse is eating cheese out of the mouth of another mouse already slain by a mouse trap, and she sighs. Another modern novel about the cruelty of life and the gil ravage of nature, which doesn't really care a lick, like a stuffed animal that doesn't really care a lick, about the child to whose secrets its pilling fluff is the inglorious tomb, despite all the imaginary adventures they share. The same way that the imaginary adventures a daydreaming young ferry worker pretends to embark on with the strange, lawless-looking boy on the railing does not bring him any closer to him, or the jacket tied around his waist, which is read as the text on a menu which indicates that the dish is spicy, and so I know to stay away from it, unless, of course, there is some auric hostility towards my mild palate in the entourage, in which case I will order the spicy food. And I will enjoy it, the way that Burgundian court silversmiths who have grown accustomed to the king's sincerity enjoy the waft of flattery his majesty offers on the beauty of his chainmail, knowing all along that the kind words will soon devolve into impossible demands of his metallurgy, which veer into the magical and the alchemical, influenced as he is by a silver-tongued meddler from the east trying to undermine his royal authority with obsessive mystical notions, like the notion that all the world is magic theater, or the notion that life is a wheel of pain, or the notion that the human mind can only achieve escape through quiet and passive contemplation forever, like some taxidermied owl at a ski resort in Aspen against whom, as a gag, people compete in staring contests, where the loser has to chug their beer, in support of which gag the maitre d' has cultivated a modest collection of foolproof jokes, like a botanist who cultivates gardenias, using a sea foam green watering can to water their gardenias, to water your gardenias.